What do they have for game number 2?
Let's go to the draft, man. Let's go to the draft, because I want to get in there straight away, because I'm already seeing Leshrac ban out here, and I am surprised and also offended. The Dry Ranger is not being picked up in the first 2.
10
but
seconds
still,
to pick.
all the bans look very, very similar, apart from that respect for
5 seconds.
Leshrac ban.
Hurry.
I like the Leshrac plus Caudle opening last game, though. It was...
Reserve time.
Both of those heroes farm really, really fast, and they played passively and let Alliance come to them, or they traded farm. And those heroes, they were good at pushing out lanes so that they couldn't play aggressively, and they're good at farming when Alliance is forced to switch modes.
Yeah,
so.
the lanes were a big thing too. Like we were talking before, like Phoenix versus Leshrac. The fact that Leshrac not only farms fast, but you gave him the complete off lane with a pure 1v1 up against a Phoenix.
Yes.
Now Phoenix isn't going to kill you in that lane, so you're going to get your levels and you're going to get your farm if you're focusing on that. So you basically gave Leshrac a start.
And that one TP mid like completely changed the game, where he turned around the gank with the SD and the Slar and the Dazzle and just massacred Alliance, and that pretty much just halted any aggression from them, because then they were too weak to gank the Lesh. Well, they tried to, and then he got a triple kill, and Shadow Fiend, he has control of their jungle. So I think Alliance needs, if they want to run that strat, they need to be able to take down that tower and control the jungle a lot better. But anyways, we will see something of a rarity on Alliance, Nature's Prophet not being banned out against them.
Can you keep doing it though? Like, if you want to give him a Wisp, if you want to give like RK Wisp, do you really want to go down that road? Or even someone like the Queen of Pain, you never really want to go up against either of these heroes for any team, let alone Alliance. And is the Nature's Prophet really that difficult to deal with? The push you can deal with through call down, flight cannon, whatever. The tree and harass, like the lane presence is always going to be there, but it's not that bad. And as far as the whole split push around the map, you do have Keeper of the Light in a way to balance that out, but he can also stop a big momentum push with the Illuminate. So I'm not feeling a major problem going up against Nature's Prophet.
Well, the thing about Nature's Prophet is he completely changes the way that lanes are played, because a 3-on-3, and then Nature's Prophet TPs in with Treants to tank the tower, and then you tower dive 4v3 with the tank. It just completely ruins your lane, and a lot of teams just aren't prepared for it, and it's more so that, and the global mobility and just being able to do so many things. That's just the scariest part about Admiral Bulldog Nature's Prophet. They also just play really, really well around it. I think that's usually what your ban should be around, like what teams excel at rather than other heroes. For example, the Leshrac. Matubba Man and 4ASC played really well around the Leshrac. He was always able to push out lanes. He won his one-on-one. He was able to counter gank very well. Can he do that with other heroes? If he can, then you don't ban with the Lesh. If he can't, then it's a go.
I like to how Boogie also took out the channel. I think he's realizing, like you say, playing well around Nature's Prophet, where you can play. It's not just a split push game, but it's also just that straight up push game. If you had a Chen army behind you with any kind of core, which is great at bringing down buildings, then yeah, you're not going to be in a great position here, because the Gyrocopter still needs time to get online. The Gyrocopter, before he gets a lot of damage, like I say, cleaning off the big waves, I almost made it sound way too easy. But until you get better damage dealing items on the Gyrocopter, that flat cannon's not going to do as much. You're not going to try and rocket barrage down 2 waves of treants. That's just, I wouldn't say a waste of a rocket barrage, but it's a waste of time. And let's go for a Shadow Demon now before ASC. I was actually expecting someone which is a little bit more, I'm not going to say pick-off oriented, because SD can help with that, but someone that can control the Nature's Prophet.
Yeah, Shadow Demon
better.
Can't really zone him out that well.
Yeah, it's...
I think one of the reasons Caudle was so strong in that game was because they always had a file in predictably. Like whenever they took a fight, they are all coming, all 5 from the same position, and they proceeded to jump on a hero. With Nature's Prophet, you can actually just swing around behind and take the fight from multiple angles, and that's one of the benefits of one of the top picks right now, which is Clockwork, is being able to take a fight where, like Keeper Light, he just excels at sitting there, channeling, illuminate, and mana linking people who are out of position, and then just backing off in and out right from that, 700 to 900 range, which is ideal for a support hero in a fight. But when they can swarm you from all angles, he becomes a lot less effective. You're not hitting as many heroes with your Illuminate or your Blinding Light. You aren't able to mana leak safely, and you die a lot more. So I think the Keeper Light was really good in game number 1. And on top of that, they have a Night Stalker. I think this draft is shaping up to be a lot better than the game before. Yeah, the game before just seemed to be more of a, if our aggressive trialing doesn't work, then all hell's going to break loose, and maybe we can keep even. Where
with this, they've got so many different options until we get something like this. You've got the fastest guy at nighttime, Night Stalker, up against the fastest guy in the entire game, plus also Rupture against Night Stalker. Welcome to the Bloodseeker.
Well,
their team fight looks good, but what's the combination they're searching for?
Disruption plus blood right, yes.
Yeah.
Pure damage, man. Night Stalker really fast, just rupture him, easy.
Only 10 seconds.
And then this turns into like a support Night Stalker, and you're like, ah, crap.
5 seconds.
Because they could get away with that too. We're getting a note from our expert on the side that we're looking at Zeus as the combo hero for both of the teams. It would actually be really nice for Alliance when you can combine Thunder God's Wrath in with the Wrath of Nature as well. Like heroes like SD and Keeper of the Light are going to drop very, very quickly.
I think the problem with that is the Glimmer Cape's already good versus 4 ASC's lineup. Like a Disruption combo or like a Missile or Rupture is generally what they're going to start off with, and then if you just Glimmer Cape them, they aren't going to take any damage from Call Down, Rocket Barrage, Illuminate. So I do like Zeus a lot. The only problem is Glimmer Cape just owns him in this patch. OP item.
It's not that bad. Did you see the Lotus Orb game from earlier today in Southeast Asia? Now that's an OP item. Finger of Death Lotus target.
I saw that in the NA game.
Is that? Oh, was that the NA game? Or was that the SCA game? No, that was the NA game. Oh yeah, that's right. That was in the final. Getting my games mixed up now. Mad, you got to make a choice, dude. 6 seconds left, and actually going to go with the Slider. So we are looking at either a Midnight Stalker, or we're looking at a support NS. Kind of feels weird though with the Slider selection. Like I understand the synergy between Rubik as well as Slider.
Is there that much synergy though?
It's just the control, so Slider can just crush and like without having to always just go into sprint. It's the control factor, so he can reach the target before they hit the tier 1 tower at the top.
But the problem is they don't have any damage. Like Slider went 2-2-0 last game, so no dash. And Rubik doesn't have that much damage. I mean, he has some right clicks, but there's no AA or anything to augment his damage. Maybe with a Slardar amp later, but that's gonna come out pretty late.
I go with Storm Spirit. So it is a support NS. And Pycat will take the Storm towards the mid lane to go up against the Templar Assassin.
Yeah, I wonder if Storm's going to get owned by the Disruption plus Blood, right? Because that's really their best way to control him. Gyro, Coddle offer no ways to lock him down. So they really need the Blood right to hit on him.
Yeah. Well, we're going to get ourselves into the game in a moment. For ASC, like it's one of these lineups again where I look at it, I'm like, if they can survive the early lane phase, they're gonna start to like push down through buildings, take team fight after team fight. With the Templar Assassin advantage too, taking Roshan is not as quick as what we saw Alliance do in the last game, but it's still very, very quick.
But Alliance, they have the NP advantage. One of Bulldog's best heroes, and
that they do.
I don't know about that Phoenix versus Lesh matchup. That's one that you don't see very often. Lesh solo off lane versus Phoenix, but it seemed like Bulldog didn't win the lane as he would have with a different hero.
No. I also look at Phoenix. I'm just wondering, like, is he really that? Like during the team fights, it made a lot of sense.
He won them so many team fights early.
Yeah.
Like they were actually like only 1 or 2 kills behind in like 20-30 minutes into the game because of him.
It just meant that your pickoff though was heavily reliant on Mad getting the initiation, like getting in there. And you don't have that from your offlaner. That's one thing where I still like. I love it when you have like a team fight versus a team fight. Then Phoenix 100%. But when you're looking for these pickoff style lineups, it's not as easy to do. Which in like with Templar Assassin, Gyro, like Bloodseeker, all of these guys work really nicely with the Shadow Demon.
Is Bloodseeker a Night Stalker counter? I don't actually think so. He's so tanky. But
true, he just runs off like
Rupture, easy. That's the counter, man. He can't run away.
Yeah. But if he gets a good enough start, like if it was a core, then I'd be like, the Night Stalker, he'll probably be fine to be able to run halfway across the map before he'd be in trouble.
They actually almost have no ways to stop TVs though, which is a pretty big deal. Because if you're using Disruption to lead in a Blood Right, then what do you have to stop TPs? You have just a rocket.
You're not counting on a rocket. Not unless you're force-stopping that thing forward. Yeah, you're right. Actually, Alliance, like, there's no hunt hero on the Prophet. If Prophet plays his cards right, this is almost maybe one of those games for the Blink Maelstrom build to come out for Admiral Bulldog and just play the split push game. Like always keep them looking behind themselves and nullify space for Slider as well. So those define pickoffs.
So their lineup's not. He's there to join the fights. Like Night Stalker scouts out opportunities for Storm and
then he joins.
Yeah, this is. I mean, that's what they're really weak against. Shadow Demon, Keeper Light, like just wrap around.
So you prefer to see something more like the mech being built on the Nature's Prophet. So when he TPs in, you got that.
It's not necessarily the item build. It's more the playstyle. Just look for opportunities. I think kills take higher priority than pushing in this particular one. Their lineup isn't good at pushing. Like Slardar and Storm, like yeah, they can hit towers, but in terms of compared to like a Leshrac last game or like a mech SF, you can't push out waves nearly as quickly.
Interesting position from Trixie coming in behind Admiral Bulldog. So he's going to try to combine it with the supplement. Admiral Bulldog, that Rocket Barrage doing little to no damage. He's got the boots and is able to run away faster.
And he has a Treants there.
Yep.
He had decent positioning, and I don't really know how to support. Trixie's going to be able to do it.
And the Rocket Barrage, like almost all these shots are just flying into the trees. There's also a potential, like, okay, Mad's been pushing around here for a while with Night Stalker just looking at Templar Assassin.
But I mean, that's pretty much it for Gyrocopter in this lane. He was down to like 200 HP, and he doesn't have boots, so
it's like you almost play him as the Zeus. Like I come up, I let off 3 Arc Lightnings, and then I just leave the lane. Yeah. I did my job.
But still, it's going to be difficult for him to have a lot of lane control versus the poor man Shield Bloodseeker. Already off to 8 CS, not sure how many of those were Treants, but still fantastic. And Bulldog can only do so much in this lane, similar to the last game.
Yeah. As long as you can just rotate a hero up there. There's an observer wall that's blocking the pull cam. So there's no way for Alliance to try and throw the lane, but opening. The Illuminate too early there, but they do get the Rocket Barrage off. Talkies just throw it back, throwing Trixie away from Mab. And again, Alliance trying this Slardar off lane with a melee support like the NS. I know it originally started as a dual lane though.
I think in this game though, he can actually do stuff without the Blink Dagger, which is really, really important.
Right, because 4ASC just run at him directly.
No, because they have good ways to initiate without his blink stun. Before it was all blink stun, and SD is not strong enough to go in, and they had a fitter counter initiate. This time they have the MP who can wrap around with Sprout. They have the Night Stalker who can slow down with Void and tank for it. And they have the Storm who can jump, so he can just walk around the fight unhindered because there's so many other factors for 4ASC to consider.
I'm actually wondering too if Nature's Prophet can even, does he even help by coming into that bottom lane? With the buff for Sprout is even better, but he can't level up Sprout. He put the extra, the third point up into Treants.
Well, they have long cooldown on the spells. Illuminate and Disruption are really long, so if they want to use that to go in on Slardar, they can almost always get a return kill, since they'll have to get right on top of them for the Rocket Barrage immediately afterwards. So I think that, yeah, it's definitely worth it. Maybe not offensively, but I think the counter gank, yes.
Man, that Keeper of the Light just keeps blasting his Illuminate into the wave every time. I know Hani was talking to us about this in the break as well, where like the Illuminate just keeps pushing the creep wave out, so there's no ability to dive onto the towers. But are we really worry about that kind of dive when you've got like a Rubik and a Slardar this time around? Like, you don't have that burst.
Oh, they're smoking
combo
with Slardar into the mid lane. Do they have reveal on Ake?
No.
Okay, so how...
Ake's got nothing really.
How are they going to kill TA? I guess they're not going for her.
Well, Ake doesn't have it either. Either that or they're assuming that she didn't get meld.
Okay, well, they're tired of Keeper Light constantly spamming out their lane.
They can come in from behind, but Mad running to the trees. It's going to reveal the fact he's got support over here, but he had no other choice. And now in comes Slardar with a crossover on Boogie. Admiral Ball's going to come and join the fight. And Boogie will be the first man down. Trixie's not in a great position. Out of mana, out of Rocket Barrage, and blocked with the body so much with the Treants. And that'll be 2 kills going to Alliance. A successful offlane, and Mad living with a beastic of life on that offlane.
I mean, Night Stalker, he has no stats, and look at his HP. 682 HP with 6 armor. He's one of the beefiest heroes in the game, and they almost got a kill on him, but he had a great presence of mind to run to where the his other 2 lane mates were, and of course Bulldog coming in to clean up after that gank.
I'm surprised they didn't flag the 4AFC. Like you're missing the heroes in the lane. You had to know something else was coming to you, but you're so close to the first blood, maybe it was just too good.
Well, TA was also right under her tower, so she's pretty safe. So I mean, I really like that play from Alliance. So again, against the Keeper of Light, you just have to approach like around him and make it so that he can't illuminate you. You take too much damage. If you get hit by a level 2 illuminate, that's like 900 magic damage that you're dealing with.
Also, we see the build coming out from the Prophet. At least it's the assumption of it. So we've got an Orchid, sorry, coming up on the Nature's Prophet. He could still convert it into like a Ring of Basilius, but
it's really good for Shadow Demon. And like the Storm can also just go for early Bloodstone instead, and then he goes in on someone, you Orchid with SD, and people are gonna die. And I think the gyro actually is going to be a fairly big liability. He actually went flat cannon instead of homing missile.
Oh, really?
So,
well, then again, not many players have been going for this homing missile build.
Yeah,
especially watching China. Like, there was nothing in homing missile, even to like level 12, 13.
Well, maybe they don't think it's that great versus some of their heroes. Like Storm can zip into it and hit it while invulnerable. Slaughter has a sprint, so by the time he gets hit, he's not going to be in a difficult position to counter.
Okay, not wanting to take this fight. I think the sprint just went on to cooldown for Loader. So yeah, still on cooldown for the moment.
Well, his farm is much better than last game. He's 2-0, and their lineup's just much better suited for having a Slaughter thrive because they're just not relying on his blink dagger. And when you're not relying on that, the other team has other things to worry about, like defending their safe lane and getting farm on, I don't know, anyone that's not Bloodseeker.
I like how Qualifiers were cleaning the tree line off just on the top river so they could see over into the jungle. Trying to just get any kind of early notice if Alliance is trying to loop around them. Nice courier. Classic.
So it's nighttime now, 4 ASC playing pretty similarly to last game. The problem is their heroes can't farm that fast. Like, Bloodseeker is mediocre, TA is okay, but just doesn't have to whoop.
Long jump down. Pycat gonna go for Trixie. The Rocket Barrage is there with the Wrath of Nature. Prophet, the Sprout's gonna be there. He's still in a loop. He had a tango to get himself out, but it took too long. Allowed Pycat to finish the job, especially when he had a haste rune to keep up.
Their reach is so much better this game, and again, Slaughter doesn't have to be involved in these fights for them to get kills. Last game, they were just so dependent on Loda and just too much pressure on him. And this game, I mean, they're playing so well. They knew that there were heroes sitting mid behind T8, and on top of that, she's already a difficult kill. If they just kill Trixie with the mobility, with the TP and the haste and the teleportation from Nature's Prophet, 4AC can't get there in time. So they have just much better mobility this game than last game, and playing way better.
And with that, you'd think they'd have a better advantage, but still, Amphi was considering having a crack at Mad. But I'm still looking at the highest CSs, and TA is leading the charge by a very long way.
But TA can't do that much later, right? If she gets amped up, she can't meld dodge anything. They'll have Treants to...
top lane, are they actually having something? No, sorry, take that.
They have the Treants to knock off all the refraction. They have Sprout to keep her in place. And they have Storm to initiate on her. So it's not easy for a T to shine in this situation.
So basically, she needs a Mana Star and a BKB to be effective in this game.
Or just HP or Bloodseeker to get really farmed so she can do some damage.
Well, just by space creation.
Yeah, just be there in front.
So do you then just try and go for the more the YOLO kind of style? Like you go for the Blink Dagger Desolator build over on the TA and just kill them before they kill you? Is that the better option here?
I think the safer option is always like phase drop. I mean, TA hasn't been that popular recently, but I just don't think she's going to have, I think she's going to have issues surviving.
And speaking of surviving, you've already lost the Bloodseeker. It was the Wrath of Nature kicking through the mid that let us know. And up on the top lane, Alliance find themselves more kills, 5-0 after 4AC had such a convincing start in game 1.
But I mean, the Nature's Prophet is just really scary to deal with. They like the 3-on-3 gank on bottom. Like you think it's gonna go okay, and Nature's Prophet comes in. You think you're okay as a gyro customer from your safe lane, and then Nature's Prophet comes in, and yeah, you know it's coming, but you still can't play around it that well. Your heroes can't move around that quick.
Well, you can't even prepare. You can't prepare for it. Like, you can't have vision of him coming in because he can just TP in the middle of tree line and then take out the tree line and be there, or sprout from the tree. So you won't even see that coming. So welcome to your first use of Rupture.
Yeah, and the heroes can't really come out too far of the river, just because of the potential from the tower dive. On top of that, they have really good wards, like the ward to see if anyone's behind the top of the man.
Actually, TP Loader all the way back to base now. He did drop pretty low because he had to run out of that blood right. At the same time, 4AC now try and make the most out of that. But it's also giving space for Mad behind the tower.
But I mean, the way 4AC is playing, like, how are they getting kills? Gyrocopter tried to move around a little bit, that completely failed. He's died a couple times. Bloodseeker just used Rupture solo with absolutely no follow-up, and they're scrambling to put any sort of pressure on Alliance. And it's daytime; they need to put pressure.
Well, Pycat's gonna be the first one to do it. You got the vision over on Boogie by throwing down that remnant, and they want to jump over on the top of man. It's still daytime, so it's not the greatest time for Mad to be fighting. See, Luna forcing him back with the Wrath of Nature, pick up by Arcade. She's stunning up the Temple Assassin, so we can't follow in straight away, and Arcade cannot TP out in time. But 5 heroes from 4 AFC end up on this top lane. Alliance is just going to let it go, and in fact, they're already pushing down bottom lane.
Yeah, they needed to make something happen and at least put themselves up on the board and know Alliance. Let Alliance know that, you know, they're willing to fight back and not just tank ganks and try and out-farm that way. That style of play is just not working anymore.
I suppose the Ruby Killer it's fine, but still, you send the message and Alliance don't really care about the message. Like, you're farming up the middle lane over on a Slardar who's about to hit the Blink Dagger. So we're not sitting here forever waiting on that timing for the Blink Dagger Slardar. While Admiral Bulldog is having it at the time of his life on bottom, he's already halfway to finishing up the full rocket, and he's already adding a lot of pressure to the tower. In fact, gets the last hit in the tower, which I'm fairly certain now makes him 2/3 of the way away from finishing up the TP. He gets TP in the front, throws Sprat to get the vision. He's got support coming in from Mad. He's actually coming in on the Keeper of the Light at the moment from behind. Actually having an invis rune too. Scouts out Matumberman. At least you'll see Varlix behind the trees.
Dire's middle tower taking damage.
But there's no Wrath of Nature, there's no real help for Mad to get this kill. And he knows it. Like, you might be able to harass him.
Well, they know that. They know that the Bloodseeker's not around anymore, so.
Yeah, they're TPing in the Slardar.
Oh, the nice blocks, Pycat.
He needs to slow him down a little bit further. But they knows it because Slardar ran straight past the creep wave. So now in comes Matumberman, slowing down Mad, and Varlix, he's so low. Like one TP in for profit. You see Bulldog, he's hunting for the kill. Mad's got TP out, and Bulldog, he actually sprouts the wrong area. Same time, Boogie's walking down. Amplification on him, they'll disrupt him up. Boogie does not want to stick here. 2 attacks from Bulldog, and he'll find the kill. And now he's realizing Varlix in the tree line. Takes out one, doesn't turn around for Boogie, however. Realizes he's dead. So I suppose makes the best of a bad situation, but potentially could have made that a twofer.
Or is Storm stealing the stack?
I think Storm's stealing the kill. He jumps in for the SD, and the Matumberman can't stop him. Pycat will TP out to safety.
I expected them to TP him earlier, because he has the reach that they need, and if he bypasses the creep wave, they react too lately. But with Slardar there, they were able to get in a pretty good position next to the T2. Nice dodges by the Keeper of Light to not die early.
The Gake was almost hoping that the TA would actually jump for him then. I say jump, just dive underneath the tower.
So Slardar's Blink Dagger so much better than last game. About 10 minutes earlier with 12 minutes. See TA doing some stacks, but it's nighttime.
That it is, which means Mad gets to come online a little bit more, combining up with Slardar. But they're not finding the openings yet. Not yet. And you've still got this split push battle that can continue forever. Because Admiral Bulldog's already farming up, and the jump will come from Pycat. Sees Varlix, the Keeper of the Light, is the easiest target, especially when Man's that close. So you get the pick off, you keep the man advantage going your way, and you keep that split push up.
Yeah, I mean, just finally a way to jump on the Coddle without getting punished. So. Well, TA's getting farm, but can she actually transition that into much?
She's going for the death side. She's going for the all-out kills. But this is still heavily reliant on the rest of her team finding the openings.
Yeah.
And without a Blink Dagger, I think like initiation is it still keeps coming back down to that.
Yeah, they have a lot of armor. Like Night Stalker and Storm are notoriously high armored heroes. Well, depending on darkness.
So how they even break it?
Radiant's top tower is
we gotta find a path to victory here, or else.
Well, they can do Aegis really quickly with Hidezo, which is really nice. But nice scouting.
Yeah, right on the back of him, Mad. Meld Strike, TA Trap. He has to void him up. There is support around the corner, but that's Admiral Bulldog who's just body blocking with the treants of his. The Wrath of Nature is also kicking through, and his Gyrocopter is actually dropping down about half at the moment. But it's Loader on the top lane. Rupture in for the right, and he just TP's out. Disruption will cancel that, but at the same time, that means the right doesn't do as damage. The cross will him with that Blade Mail. Loader doesn't want a part of this, but he's already dead. The Bloodseeker will end up claiming the kill here.
They see Pycat.
They also see Trixie. Mad, Prophet's TPing in. There's no Wrath of Nature, but you get Earn Charge. They're trying to keep their distance here. Admiral Bulldog actually ended up attacking the creep before he moved over to attack the TPing out Gyro. It probably wouldn't have been enough anyway, but now the bailout TP's Mad, only barely surviving that.
Alliance misfiring on a lot of ganks here. Slaughter needs to be able to just go in and blink on people so that they can't TP out. And Night Stalker is... he has his nighttime out. They still have a decent window to get a couple of kills here and there. That also, that ward in the middle just prevents Kato or anyone else from dying from that jump.
Still keep my eyes on that TA, man. That Desolator's almost done. And the Bloodseeker's already proven he can do a lot of damage. That's if Alliance want to stay within that Blood Right. But now Alliance actually going to group up. Is it a smoke move? It is. And they're coming into the Radiant jungle. Man's the one on the front lines, but they find the Templar. That's the biggest kill they can possibly get right now next to the Templar Assassin. And they're going to look for two. So moving down the Boogie, allowing the Templar to be controlled up by Arcade. And well, we'll go for the Blood Right, but Loda will survive it until Trixie comes with the Rocket Barrage. The Illuminate to help out the Templar Assassin. Taking out Admiral Bulldog. A big kill for him, especially if you can back it up with a kill on Admiral Bulldog. They keep running out here. The Blinding Light, the recalls, whatever they've got, they can push him back out of here as he goes into the tree line. And it's just a straight TP out. He's actually home and host.
Alliance, they didn't have the best coordination there. They really needed the Orchid on the SD before the disruption came out. Because of the disruption, the calldown came in, and he called down 2 heroes as well as a Rocket Barrage and just instantly obliterated Loda. And that was also Bulldog got owned by the calldown because he TP'd in. So if they get the Orchid, they just kill both heroes in like 3 seconds, and by the time heroes TP, those 2 are already dead. So they really needed that to control the enemy jungle. It was also their last move until nighttime or until daytime hits. So not what Alliance was looking for.
They wanted more than this, but it's still a solid position for them. I'm still waiting for Roshan time. Come on, we're 16 minutes in with a slide with the amplification and on a whole bunch of trees. I know the physical damage isn't that terrific.
Well, they have to get rid of the trap first. So I mean, it's gonna be very delayed in how they want to take it. They have to go there, they have to sentry it, they have to, push out the lanes, and then...
Yeah, do you even go against it? Do you actually go against it at all? Is it even worth trying, is probably my question.
Not before one of the supports go there and sentry it. Okay. Like, they can't kill it that quickly, and call down, rupture, all these spells.
Okay, having to stand his ground here. He knew he was dead.
Yeah, this TA is
Radiant's top tower is under siege.
What build is Bloodseeker going for after? I'm not sure. 1,000 gold post Blade Mail. I mean, Blade Mail is really good versus Loridar.
Radiant's top tower is being attacked.
Looks like they're actually going to pop in for Roshan for ASC.
Yeah, that's one of the benefits of TA's build is just being able to slam.
Radiant's top tower is under siege.
His arm's going to drop so quick. There is support though, nice focus on the neighborhood, but they don't see into the pit until the train walks in. So now the vision is there for Alliance, and there's going to be a bigger wave of trees coming in. The call down over on Mad. He's the most exposed one, but Roshan killed by the tire. Loda got in, he snatches it. He actually grabs the Aegis, the Immortal out from their fingers, and you've lost your 2 major cores. The Crush will be off target, but the Orchid Trap with the Sprout, they'll do the work in Alliance. Now is the fight they wanted. Trixie will be pulled back in, and it is a team wipe for the prize of the Night Stalker, which 4ASC tried to initiate on while they were doing Roshan.
Such great presence of mind from Bulldog. He sends in 1 tree and then sends all of them in so they can't die. They can get vision of Roche so that Loda can take in and make that play. And if he's not there, like if Pycat's there, it's just not the same. But they have such good ways to contest Roche. And if 4AC thought they could do it because it's daytime, maybe they can take a fight. But Alliance were more than prepared for that, and that is about as bad as it gets. Steal Roach kill, steal the Aegis, 5-man.
Man, daytime didn't affect anything there. Like Mad was not factor. Like he was bait. That's all he really was. Looks like, and even on the bottom lane, like he escaped because it was nighttime. Sure, that's his advantage. He actually triggered darkness, and that's why they didn't have the vision of him going into the tree line.
He's been doing a good job of just being out in front and forcing 4ASC to do something on him. You want him to get ruptured. You want him to get disrupted. You want him to for TA to use her burst on him.
But it's this weird thing when you run a hero like a Night Stalker as your 4th position, because most of the time as a team you're looking at him going, this is a core. Like, I know what this guy has done to me in the past, and this is what he should be able to do to me. I'm worried about this, so then you try and deal with it. But innately tanky hero takes a long time to do such things.
I think the thing with the support Night Stalker over the core is that core is just too predictable in how you want to play, because if you play the farm game, you're generally going to lose out. But with a support, you can just farm Scepter and still be useful. If you just have Scepter on a core Night Stalker, it's not that great because you don't do any damage, and he doesn't farm that quickly. You need to be able to get kills. And he's such a great tank and a frontliner, and just gets so much vision. The Storm can zip in, so Bulldog can get a clutch Orchid off, so they can spread out, so they don't get Blood Riot or Ruptured. And yeah, he is just exactly what Alliance needs.
Pycat looking to force the top tower, and for ASC, I think they're taking the bait. Because they were meant to come and defend this and then jump in from behind. At the same time, that should come with Tumbleman out of position. So the Bloodseeker's going to go down. He did get the rock drop on Loader. So Loader won't throw him this fight quickly, but it doesn't matter. We've still got Pycat mad at the front lines. Now Bulldog is beating them down. He's also going for the Classico build. It's the old-fashioned Shadow Blade build over on Nature's Prophet. Ever since it's nerfed, not as a valuable item over on the Prophet, but now TPing the front lines, looking at that sprout, they can control up Trixie. They've already got the kill over on Varlix, and they just move from one to the next, diving into the tier 3 tower while the tier 2 is still alive on the top lane. This game really belongs to Alliance.
I wonder if the other teams in this group watching this series will consider just straight banning Nature's Prophet every single game because of this.
And also because like how polar different the games were, with game number 1 where Alliance were forced to fight so hard, and then you got positional advantage and lane advantage every time from Prophet.
Yeah, I don't like the Keeper to Light pick, first phase pick in game 1 and game 2. I think game 1 was fine. Game 2, I think they're going to be more prepared for, as opposed to Alliance who, switch their opener up a lot and switch their mid roll with the Storm Spirit, and pretty much just one of the heroes is the same. Whereas, I mean, it's just devastating what Bulldog is inflicting on 4 Anchors, the Sea Captain.
There's that Silver Edge, the other thing that does make that Shadow Blade even more viable. Yeah, makes Bloodseeker very, very sad.
How is TA supposed to man up in these fights? They banked onto the Roshan so hard. When you get a Desolator, you really need Roche. Because you're just going to die very often. And he hasn't made any item progression past that. And he gets amped up, and then what? He can't escape. All his refractor charges are going to get owned. He's going to get slowed from Slithering Crush as well as Void. And just no mobility in these fights.
That really was like the deciding moment with the cores, at least. Because until that point, you did have Tumbleman as well as Alex up on the top. So it was the TA, sorry, and the Bloodseeker being number 1 and number 2. And it was still debatable who would be able to come up behind them. And then Pycat just gets this huge injection of gold as well as experience, and now he's sitting at number 1 on the net worth. And Admiral Bulldog just lapping it all up on the side.
And on top of that load, has BKB. So this is about the time that he had just a Blink Dagger last game. This game he has BKB on top. Look at Storm's farm too. My goodness.
12 Bloodstone charges, and now looking towards his own Scythe of Vice, going directly for the disable. Because there's no BKB on the Templar Assassin, so hey, why not? She'll never do any damage. She actually bought a Blink Dagger instead. So I think 4SC also realized this too. They need to just basically pop an Alliance hero straight away. It's the only way that's going to work.
How can they? They don't have vision. Night Stalker with, 4 out of 8 minutes, he's going to own you with nighttime vision, and then you have darkness whenever you want it. So they need to be able to jump on them. But let's say he gets jumped by Slaughter, the Blink Dagger is useless. So that's...
Well, our power went on and off in here, but I think we're okay. Yep, we're back up again. But yeah, so... Yeah, you are right. Like he can't kill off anybody, and the fact that Storm Spirit also finished up a Shiva's Guard, so you got even more armor. We're not going for that Scythe of Ice style build.
It's really useful for fights, but it's not useful for fights. And
long jump up by the Storm Spirit, finding Boogie. He can't even get a purge off for a disruption. There's a haste rune as well over on Pycat, hence he's searching for the secondary kill, if it's possible. Admiral Bulldog getting a bit of vision over on Trixie, into the corner, and Trixie coming back out again. Blink, Crush, they do have everything else to throw it in, but really, they don't need to throw everything at him. Maybe Mad? Nope, even that's going to be denied as he TPs away. So you get 2 quick kills.
Oh, now they have Shiva's vision. Shiva's has been a lot more popular on the Storm Spirit recently because of the nerf in their last patch. And you just zip in with the Shivas, and you just get full vision, and you can make the right plays as a result.
So do Alliance just push for victory now? Do they look at the tier 2 tower and just think about high ground?
Nah, they have way better control of the map. They can take it any way they want.
So just keep farming and wait for next Roshan and then go?
Yeah, keep farming, look for good fights. They have better reach, and Mad Dies is not a big deal. And they have to be prepared for this, which is happening.
Yeah. So you lose your support, nice. So okay, Admiral Bulldogs, you bring Justice, like okay, goes directly in from the top of him. The Orchid's over on the top of him too, so he can't really help out. The Blade Mail's making it so they can't instantly pick him up, but then the Shiva's guy goes to work. There is a quick blood drive, but Admiral Bulldog stands his ground on Arcade. Okay, he may still psionic traps, but they pick up Nemphy, throw him back down again, and they are looking for some level of reveal. The Sprout, the Remnants, they'll take care of the rest, and in fact, he's going to one charge up the cooldown, arriving in from Trixie, battling up against Admiral Bulldog, and well, he's in trouble until all of a sudden, Silver Edge. He'll survive for the moment. Pycat, Fate Bolt from RK actually slowing down that damage, or at least reducing the damage into Pycat, sacrifices himself for it. And Pycat's got enough for one last jump if the attack does come in. Slaughter, well, he ends up killing off Keeper of the Light in the meantime on a different lane. And Pycat, you know, his mana, he doesn't really have a hell of a lot. With the Shiva's gun, he can slow down Trixie, and Arrow Bulldog's already back in the fight, and that's what it's all about. Silver Age to attack in, so it's already been broken on one. Trixie will end up going down, Pycat remaining alive, and they see Nemphy in the trees. Trigger off the dust this time around, he'll blink away, and they kept vision of him for just a moment. Now with the Revenant up, and the Sprout, and the traps, every bit of vision they've got thrown into the tree line. So TA will finally drop an Alliance, extending that lead now 26-9.
The only reason that fight went like kind of bad for Alliance is because they didn't have a reveal the first time. Once they actually have revealed, the TA is just dead meat, and that's without the Slaughter in the fight for the amp. So, I mean, Alliance are just mega farmed at this point. I like the old school build from Bulldog. He switches it up very often, and he knows what's best for every scenario.
Yeah. But you said it before, that the Orchid was the perfect timing, and now he's just able to break both the Bloodseeker as well as the Templar Assassin. It's that Silver Edge. It's almost like the perfect item for the off-laner who's just trying to survive and push as well, if you do get forces in that position. Because then you've got survivability with the Sarge, you've got potential maim, and you've got the ability to go invis. So it makes up for the long cooldown time on it.
It's a good item pickup for sure. And the main, such a satisfying sound.
Just the sound, not the effect.
The effect is secondary to the sound. Come on, let's be real here.
Well, Dota is a very audible game, with all the wonderful character lines as well. There needs to be a new sound added in for Nature's Prophet every time he gets the name with the Silver Edge.
Oh, Roach is up. They see it with a treant and compare to seed into it.
It's kind of funny too. It's kind of funny. It's kind of funny with this lineup for Alliance. For the side they're on. 4ASC willingly gave Alliance Dire Sight. Like at the start of this game, the pick was the 4ASC wanted Radiant, and Alliance get to have Dire. And they do this when you then have like Slaughter, like the Slaughter game, and you got a Nature's Prophet. It's not that difficult for them to do it. I know 4ASC were still feeling like they could test it, but it's just interesting that you give a side which is pretty well renowned for their Roshan plays, that you give them Dire 2 games in a row. And now you're going to lose one on top. The top of them is down.
Dominating.
I mean, a lot of people prefer Radiant though, especially for like the mid heroes that they played, the Shadow Fiend and the TA, because they have better access to neutrals. On top of that, TA, I think Radiant Ancients are much easier to do. So, I mean, I can understand their side preference.
Sigmodo instantly regretted his decision to run in. And he triggers the BKB, which stops him having missile from getting the stun. He's still going to get hit by that call down. And the Blink Dagger double crush for him on both the supports. He's already lost the Gyrocopter as well. And now it's all down to the last player of 4AFC. It's a Templar Assassin, and he's down for the count as well. 31-9. It just feels like every single fight's going the way of Alliance. They just don't have the creep wave in mid just yet to bring down this tower, but it's time to go for the tier 3 in mid.
Time to put up the double Gs.
There's no buyback for the TA as well. There's only buyback for the Coddle as well as the Bloodseeker here, and that's not enough to defend. The Illuminate will slow him down, but it's not enough to stop Alliance.
I mean, they can't eliminate him. He'll get scouted out by Night Stalker and just jump immediately.
Huge advantage. Huge advantage.
I think the impact on Bulldog is very evident in this game, and it was completely different from last game, where he went in, he got like a solo kill with his egg, but that was pretty much it in the early game, whereas this game he dominated top and bottom and pushed down all the towers. Last game they had huge issues pushing down towers.
The disruption's keeping him alive for now, but Sprout was holding him there. Pycat jumped in, but they're battling up against the Blade Meld to start with. And then ended up getting weighted out by the SD disruption of all things. They pull out and then they go back in again. The first hit bash from Loda. He really has been having such a great time on this ladder. And Trixie, he'll be the next one. Keep it alive, will fly back, but it's an absolute massacre here in the middle lane. Alliance is just tearing apart the mid-racks, as well as the 4ASC lineup. You can have your buybacks, but Alliance, they could just retreat. They just took mid-racks, and already Bulldog is going directly in for Roshan. He doesn't care if TA can watch every single move. Let her watch.
Radiant's bottom tower is being attacked.
Interesting stats. Not, well, easy road for them.
And that's when they actually just choose their sides. So it's not just the overall, yeah, that's when they get to choose.
What about the Aegis?
Interesting. Better for Radiant, but either way, Desolator now over on Admiral Bulldog. He wants to end this. You get your negative armor, he can actually solo push down lanes now. He'll just carve apart the buildings.
Radiant's bottom tower is
And what else
being
you got?
attacked.
The Assault Cuirass is done for Loda. You got a casual Void Stone flying in for Pycat. That's going for his Scythe of Vice, which is actually also completed.
Radiant's
He'll have to spend his
bottom tower
buyback money
under
for it,
fire.
but he can get it. Man, they're just looking so strong.
The Bloodseeker didn't really pan out for them at all. I thought it was going to be a lot better for them.
Yeah, same. When he did when he had the two heroes on bottom lane, you could see his damage potential. But it's like Forius, he never got a chance to use that for that. Like the combo wasn't there. You're drafting something which is great for teamfight, great for pickoffs, and you're never getting the chance because things like this happen. You get picked up, you're not the ones who are calling the shots, and Alliance don't care. They're just going right under tier 3 towers, and they know they can push the issue. Pycat's still got a damn Aegis the Immortal, and 22 Bloodstone charges. It's an instant respawn, so he knows he can just turn 5. Mad looks like he was TVing out as a bait, but now Matubberman, they've lost everything, and I think that's actually the game right there, because you're going to lose your bottom racks, you're going to buy back by the Templar Assassin. You're not playing for any, like we don't have a time limit on any of these games for the international qualifiers. You know, for AOC, they're fighting to the end.
What is the tiebreaker scenario?
It's just, you basically play best of 1, I believe. But it's only if you draw up. But with the way the group stage with the points works, it's actually quite difficult to get a tie. Which was the reason why it's designed this way, probably. But there's 2 sets of practice for Alliance.
Radiant's middle tower is being attacked.
I just don't like. There's just no more joy from me. Like, you get a Vladimir's offering now being able to be picked up from the Radiant Stalker from the Night Stalker if he can get close enough for it. I mean, that's going to fly out the courier. All right. But Alliance just, like, they can't be stopped. Like, there really is no way they can be stopped here. Like, for it, he got one last play, like, one last thing. Bloodseeker's now spawned up. This is it. Like, if it doesn't work now, it's never going to work. The Crush catching out too, Trixie as well as Barley. But Bloodrise actually a double because Rubik ended up stealing that one. And 3 heroes down. Alliance don't lose anything. But Tomerman's on the run, but the Sprout keeps the vision up on him. They've lost 4. They're about to lose 5. Templar Assassin being dragged unwillingly away from her own base. And even the Storm Spirit's got himself a Desolator just because it's cheap stuff that does the damage. Good game, man. Good game.
Fantastic overall performance by Alliance. Pycat, 15 kills, 13 assists, 0 deaths, 29 charges, about as far as the Storm Spirit can be at this stage of the game.
This is so different to our first game. Like plus 40k advantage at the end of the match, it's as quick and as brutal. And can't GG because of time rating. There is no time rating, Trixie! Oh man. Good game.